What's up, everybody? It's your favorite king of dinosaurs, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the last two members of the Fansproject Dino King Combiner. Now, there's good news and bad news in regard to this. Fansproject sent me this, and I told them I don't have the other pieces, so I couldn't do the combine mode, and they didn't seem to have a problem with that. I looked around to see if I could get it. It just wasn't within the realm of possibilities at the moment. Nobody I know locally has one, and etc., etc. So, unfortunately, we can't combine, but we can take a look at these guys. I've wanted to take a look at these guys, so I'm kind of looking forward to this. But I figured they're pretty much the same mold, so I figured we just do them both at the same time and kind of go, you know, through the motions, so to speak. So we'll take a look at accessories and stuff after we get through the transformations. We'll get them both to robot mode, and then we'll kind of go through it. So let's look at this fella in his beast mode, so to speak. So you get this jaw articulation here, and it is a tight joint. It hinges here, and they're both on the same hinge, I believe. And you can get an extreme angle, so that is nice. And then there's a subtle paint app along the upper jaw line there. That's well done. And then the silver on the teeth and on the crown here, and then it has a translucent light piping kind of plastic in the eyes. I did find it a little weird that the bottom teeth weren't painted. I think that does throw it off a little bit, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. And then most of the articulation is pretty much the same. So you got this ratcheted, great ratchet, by the way, shoulder here that gets you all the way up, and then around on a softer ratchet that's not totally soft, so to speak. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow that gets you a great range, and then you can use this claw articulation down, but you're not really supposed to, but you bought it, you can do what you want with it. You get a reverse ab crunch and a little bit of an ab crunch forward as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. And then you get the swivel that's ratcheted, and then you get universals that are ratcheted both ways. So that is nice. And you get it all the way up to there and out to there. So no real issues. You don't really get much of a knee joint because you're using the knee to collapse it on top of itself. And then the feet are on ball pegs. You get ankle tilt down and then a little bit up, and then the rocker is slight as well, but it is there. Robot mode is pretty much the same thing. Head is on a ball peg. You got red, blue, and this like olive color paint app there on the head, and the ball peg gets you up, a little bit down, and the swivel, and then you get the waist swivel. You got to kind of manipulate the headpiece, so to speak, around. This kibble back here, you can hide it better, you know, a little bit like that. I was just messing with it earlier, that's why it's like that. Same ratcheted shoulders that feel great. You do kind of have to, the head does get in the way a little bit of some angles just because of the kibble up here, so to speak. And I think, is that paint? Yes, that's, that might be a certain, I think it's paint in there, so that's nice. Ratchet here, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. It seems like this should do a little bit better of a job. Let me see if I can't. It seems like that should have been sculpted a little bit better to get that full range, in my opinion. Just like it seemed like it would have been a small thing. Wrist swivel. And then a 5mm peg, which holds his gun, which I think is this one. I can't keep track. I'll take a look here in a second. Yes, it's this one. It's a huge gun, so, you know, it's mainly for combine mode, I would imagine. So you can't really do a whole lot with it. But he does hold it. It's just, he pretty much has to have his arm almost straight out, because bending the arm and holding it, it doesn't really work because it's just so big. Like I said, the waist swivel is still there. Ratchets get you an extreme Van Dam. The ratchet universal split and almost the full range front and back. Oh, nope, it does get you the full range front and back. Thigh swivel at the bottom of the universal. It's really a double jointed knee, but you don't even need both joints to kind of get you the full range. We got red paint apps. We got these, once again, this olive paint apps. We'll talk about this a little bit when we get into beast mode, so to speak, or monster mode, or whatever. The red paint here looks magnificent, as it does it there, and same on the bottom. And then the ankles are good to go. So let's get him into limb mode. They're both done the same way. Turn the head around, push it down, bring the arms up and forward, and then you just sort of hang these on the back. Oh, you know what? I should probably bring this piece up first. Bring the backpack up and tab it in. And then that's the connector port there. Then you can bring this up, and these will also tab into the sides here. And then down and around. I wonder if that... Yep, that tabs in as well. So that's all pretty solid. Pretty nice. Spin this around. And then, let me see here. Sorry, I'm going to cut this in because this ate me up. And I'm not really sure if I think it's the right choice or not. But in terms of, I had the wrong way and there's a right way. So we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn the waist around 180. And then we're going to bring up this. We're going to rotate this foot assembly out to the side and then push the foot through. Similar to Feral Rex, the foot assembly on Feral Rex, on the Headstrong and Tantrum, I believe. And then this comes around to the back and just sort of sits like this. And I don't know if that's as clean as it can get. Now, you know, there's space in here. Now, like, it's hard for me to say because I don't have the foot. Do you know what I mean? Like the actual combiner foot. But like you can get this more collapsed, and it may not be as stable in terms of the swivel, but I think it might look better. I don't know, but it seems like to me, per the instructions, and this might pop off this ball joint. Yeah, it's a tight tolerance here on this hinge. But it just seems like to me that this is what the instructions are asking you to do, but it may not be the cleanest alternative. But you know, a lot of stuff like that is that way with combiners, and you kind of like got to customize it to an extent within reason to get it the way that you want it. So we're doing the same thing on this side. And truthfully, like I transformed it differently just off intuition, and the feet were wrong, and I didn't notice it immediately. But I think I liked my way better. But it doesn't matter. We'll just stick to the script, because I know there's plenty of folks that get emotional when you don't do it quite right. So there, that should be it within reason. And it was a little teeny unit. I don't know. There's my Leatherman. I don't have anything else really handy. There's Tiger Tracks. There's a Marvel Legend. So it's a little fella. You know, now granted the foot is going to give you some leeway there. Okay, and then we'll go to Beast Mode, which you pretty much just have to undo this and then bring this down and then rotate these. It's on a double hinge here, so you're going to bring down and then hinge up, and you'll have to split at that point. Rotate the hips back around, reorient the feet, all right. No, we'll just fix it and put it on. There. And then you got the feet, and then you can bring down these arms. Oh, you know what? You might want to have had that collapsed for combine mode. That might help. But open this up. Lay that head down. And bring A little dog face. And then we'll bring this around. And then rotate that up, I think. I'll double check that. The other one is slightly different. We'll talk about it. So yeah. And that's basically him. We'll get them side by side. So here they are in their monster modes, and you know, I'm not an expert on Dino King or Monstructor, to be honest. My Monstructor connection is mainly through IDW. But from what I can research and see online, it seems like the alt modes are fairly vague anyway. So I think that it's fair. I think that they're fair representations of those alt modes. I don't think that they're anything phenomenal, but I don't think that they're anything terrible either. I think they just kind of get the job done. It would have been nicer if you could have had more posability in the heads, the beast heads, and also if, like, I don't know, I feel the need to want to do more with this arm as well. Maybe if there was a little bit more hand and claw articulation, that would have been a great help to kind of make the overall experience more enjoyable. There's a lot here that seems kind of like half-heartedly done. We're going to get back to that at the end. But that's an issue that seems to plague this from what I'm seeing so far. So we'll get them both into robot mode, and then we'll talk about accessories, and we'll do some size comparisons and stuff, and then kind of... Actually, you know what? Change of plans. We'll transform him into robot mode, and then we'll kind of cover all of our bases. So head down, and then you're supposed to collapse this section. Now that's what prevents the bit of an ab crunch, though. That's going to be up to you, in my opinion. And then bring this up. There's two notches inside here, two gray notches, and they peg into corresponding slots at the back of the knee, the kind of shin here. And then I think that they recommend that these pieces here be folded around on this guy. I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but we'll go ahead and try to stay accurate to the instructions. Same on this side. Bring it up. And then this is the piece that's majorly different. This actually works a bit better than the other one. You know, this one seems really like E.T. phoned home. This one's like E.T. has got the phone, but he's not getting a dial tone type of unit. But you just bring those around and peg them into the back. Orient the hands. Bring around. Peg into the back. Orient the hands. And then bring the head up. This head, the clearance between here and here is taut like a tiger. Spin the head around, and then this guy's in service. And even paint apps wise, it's fairly similar. Not identical, but fairly similar. We got visor and face paint. Articulation's the same pretty much as the other one. We got black paint here and red paint, and then the red accents throughout. Down at the bottom. The red looks great. The Fansproject has really been knocking the red out of the park recently between this and the Diatlas and so forth. The red has been looking amazing. And then that's how the back of the figure kind of does. And, you know, we're getting a little hollow like my mother's soul down in here, but otherwise, I don't think it's hateful. We're going to talk about why it doesn't quite work 100%, but I don't think it's bad. His accessory is this gun is kind of the same deal. Where's the handle? There it is. And once again, it's not really sculpted. I mean, I'm sure this is all done so that it combines into the Ultra Mega Gun or whatever, but it's just not ideal. Do you know what I mean in terms of how it works for this bot? And then one of these guys, I can't really recall which. I think it's the other one, this one. Huh. Comes with this 3-piece axe, which is vicious and mean and wicked. And this is for the combine mode, obviously, but it is cool. A little bit of paint there, a lot of red translucence and stuff. It comes in 3 pieces, and it's all easily identifiable what kind of pegs into what. You got slots and grooves, and then slots and grooves. So it all kind of ends up making sense and being relatively intuitive. There's a size comparison with the Hasbro Deluxe, so I'd say it's pretty much on target. I've already shot my final thoughts for this before I did the size comparison, and there's one thing I want to mention that I didn't mention in my final thoughts, and that's that the ratchets in these figures are fantastic. They're well placed, and they are exactly what you want in a ratchet. I think you guys know what I mean. Like in terms of that click and how it works and operates, it's exactly what you want. So I want to make sure I say that because I don't think I said it. And if I did, I'll edit this part out. Movie magic. Final thoughts wise, look, it's not bad. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing inherently bad here. Like the articulation is kind of fine. The materials are good. The paint is great. It's not excessive, but it's clean, it's sharp, and it's vibrant. So I dig that. The accessories are kind of silly. You know, but they're not really meant for them. They're meant for something bigger, ultimately. So I get it. But it's just like, I don't know. First, I think it's the fact that they're both kind of the same. So it makes it kind of a little less interesting to have to, you know, look at both in a way. Like, you know, because it's not as exciting. Once you kind of get one down, you understand the other, how the other one works. But I think there's a lack of heart here. Like, there's a lack of passion here. Like, this really seems like going through the motions. And it's said in the same breath as there's nothing wrong with it, you know? I think that it's just antiquated in a way. It's simple, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it's just like little things, man. Like you know, the 5mm port hands and the general size of the figure, and you know, looking at the size of the leg for the, you know, the combined mode, it's just like there's nothing really exciting. You know, it's nothing bad. If you're in for the set, if you've gotten the other three, rest assured these two are going to be fine. And it looks like combined mode will be decent. Like, these are pretty solid legs, so you know, as long as those middle pieces are fine, it should hold up well. There's no pizzazz here. There's no charm. There's no je ne sais quoi. There's no special. You know, there's nothing about this that feels special. It just feels like they were contractually obligated to finish this. Do you know what I mean? That's how it feels. Like they might have started off strong and their heart kind of went other places, like maybe a GoBot line, I don't know. And then as time went on, they felt obligated to finish this. And this is the end product of that obligation. But, like I said, the materials are good, the paint is good, the articulation is good, it's all good. It's just, I'm not sure if it's good enough for 2016. You know, TF Source has these sometimes. I'm not advertising for them. I'm just saying that they have this sometimes for like $30 a piece. I'd say it's definitely worth that. Definitely. You know, they had a sale where they had all the other ones for $30 a pop, and that to me is like very appropriate for this. But I'm not sure how like the $60 price point and up kind of feels for these guys right now. There's just, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there right now. And this doesn't feel like the Diatlas, which still felt like it had some heart and passion and love behind it. This feels like an obligation. I will admit, though, like messing with these, I was thinking about getting the other ones just to see how the combine mode is, because I'm a sucker for combiners, and I was just like, nope, I don't need it. It doesn't make sense for my collection. I wasn't in before, so I shouldn't be in now. Just go to sleep, think about it in the morning. What are you doing? We talked about it. But I think I'm going to be able to hold fast. But I'm not making any promises. I might get them. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.